Nature makes no mistakes. God does not play dice. Instead, all of creation springs forth according to a few simple, elegant rules. All of creation, including your body. Know these rules and your body comes under your control. Welcome to Mind Over Symptom, where the pattern is revealed. Hello, I'm Lishwi Springford, founder of the Mind Tree Integration Process, which helps you to overcome your symptom by dissolving it at its source. Today, I want to bring to light the greatest health crisis that nobody talks about and its solution via 5 natural laws of healing. But first, I need to point out the critical difference between treating your symptom and healing it. This is vital because for the vast majority of organic illnesses, that is, illnesses that do not arise from a direct result of injury, malnutrition, or poisoning, we do not have cures for these. We only have treatments for cancer, for MS, diabetes, heart disease, depression, anxiety, obesity, and the hundreds of other symptoms that make us miserable. We can't find the right treatments to permanently resolve our symptoms. Now, as your doctor may have told you, most illness is brought on by stress, and this is absolutely correct. In fact, every symptom is itself a stress response. So if you've got a symptom, then you're stressed about something, or at least you were until recently. But you've also got the stress of having a symptom, a second kind of stress. And this stress of having a symptom can and often does trigger a new stress response. This is why a little symptom gets worse and worse over time. It compounds because of stress. Now, when we get into more serious health complaints, there's a third source of stress: the treatments themselves, especially when they don't result in a cure. So we've got the unresolved stress creating the original symptom, then the stress of the symptom itself, which compounds, and then the stress of treatments, poor prognosis, loss of freedom due to our medical status, and so on. The result is that we have absolutely dismal health statistics. Most conventional and alternative treatments just keep trying different combinations from a small selection of techniques. We try this drug and that manipulation and this other combination of diet and exercise and changes to our lifestyle, and we hope to find a solution by a process of elimination or luck. This can get expensive both in money and in time. But more importantly, in the bigger picture, this approach often just doesn't work. Over the last century and a half, there have been astonishing advances in medical technology. It wasn't all that long ago that if you were born, say, with a heart defect, it meant you weren't likely to see your 5th birthday. Now you can have a whole new heart. It wasn't that long ago that if you had emotional or mental health challenges, you were given poisons, or you had priests trying to exorcise demons, or you were tortured or chained up. By comparison, just within my lifetime, we now have CAT scans, insulin pumps, MRIs, DNA sequencing, mapping the human genome, artificial livers, artificial knees, even artificial blood. We've developed state-of-the-art techniques such as body refrigeration, which allows us to perform lengthy surgeries, heart-lung bypass technologies, which allow us to stop the body to be able to perform microsurgery. Now, even mainstays of medical technology, including x-rays, anesthesia, antibiotics, vaccination, and the use of pharmaceutical-grade drugs, are all things that were not widely available just a few generations ago. But despite our absolutely mind-blowing advances in life-saving medical technology, we seem to be fighting a never-ending battle against a number of diseases and ailments. Bacteria are becoming resistant to antibiotics. Pathogenic viruses, which have never been seen under a microscope and are very poorly understood, are also paradoxically becoming more complex. And the artificial substances of lab-made drugs that we've become so dependent on may soon no longer provide the results that we need. As a whole, we are getting less healthy. Here in Canada, for example, cancer has climbed from 1 in 1,000 deaths or less to 1 in 6 and kills 62% of all Canadians diagnosed. Perhaps this is why so many people, including medical researchers, are turning to nature in the hope of finding remedies with which to treat and hopefully prevent. So we have extreme technological advancement on the one hand, and serious lack of understanding of how to control illness on the other. Today I'd like to talk about another possibility altogether. Something other than treatment or prevention. Something other than replacing a failed liver or desperately seeking another substance to treat depression or developing an even more debilitating form of chemotherapy to try to shock cancer out of our bodies or restricting and legislating families even further in the hope of preventing children from getting the flu or chickenpox. Today I'd like to turn your attention from reaction to inquiry, because this is the key difference between treating and healing. Stress isn't always a bad thing. It's handy for an extra burst of energy or focus, like when you're competing or giving an important presentation. But when it's continuous, it actually begins to change your brain. There's a great animated TEDx presentation by science educator Madhumita Murguia about how stress impacts your sleep, your energy levels, and your mood. It actually affects brain size, brain function, and eventually even your genes through what we are now understanding in the new science of epigenetics. What's important for my purpose today in telling you about the 5 natural laws of healing is that stress actually shrinks your brain and diminishes your function in every aspect of your life and can end up controlling you. In fact, this is the first natural law of healing. Your stress produces a brain response that triggers an effect in your body. Treatment can be very important for your health. It can take the edge off, it can improve your vitality, and it can save your life. To heal, however, you've got to look for the cause of your symptom, which isn't a broken body part or any physical agent. A symptom is your body's response to threat of trauma as detected by your brain. In other words, stress. The source of your symptom is not in your body. It's in your brain. The difference between treating your symptom and healing it is that treating your symptom doesn't address the stress that's causing the symptom. Yes, treatment can and often does ease the symptom, but as long as the stress that's causing the symptom remains, any treatment is at best temporary. At worst, the wrong treatment compounds your stress and makes it harder and harder to properly resolve. So healing the stress is vital. Altogether, there are 5 laws of healing, 5 natural laws discovered by cancer doctor Dr. R.G. Hammer in the early 1980s. He referred to these laws as the 5 biological laws of nature. I, however, call them the 5 natural laws of healing rather than the 5 biological laws of nature because there are, in fact, other biological laws that don't specifically have to do with illness. These biological laws are a subset of the laws of physics. Like the law of gravity, the laws of healing can't be broken. But we can work with the 5 natural laws of healing to get the results we want, just like we can work with the law of gravity and its related laws of aerodynamics and buoyancy to allow us to fly through the air or sail across the ocean in a ship. In the same way that understanding the law of gravity lets us fly airplanes, understanding the 5 natural laws of healing lets us dissolve symptoms at the source. The first natural law of healing is the law of conflict, or as Dr. Hammer originally called it, the iron rule of cancer, before he realized that the law of conflict applies to every organically generated symptom. The law of conflict says that you cannot find either the cause or the cure for your symptom in your body or in anything that happens to your body. Look for the cause of your symptom in your psyche, not in the physical aspects of yourself. In other words, instead of looking at what your body's doing wrong, look for the stress that your body's responding to. The second natural law of healing is what Dr. Hammer calls the law of the 2 phases, and what I call the law of process. The law of process says that first your body responds to stress or conflict with a symptom, and then when the stress or conflict is resolved, your body heals itself, and this produces another symptom. So every symptom is either what we call a conflict active symptom or a healing phase symptom. To be able to help your body to heal then, it's important that instead of resenting and punishing your body for having a symptom, understand what your symptom is for and whether you're in an active stress response or in recovery. And this is really easy to figure out quickly because active stress responses have certain things in common and the healing phase symptoms have certain things in common. But not understanding that there are these 2 phases can lead us into a cycle of triggering new stress and new symptoms by inappropriately handling a healing phase symptom because we're thinking that it's something our body's doing wrong, and then interrupting or preventing the biological imperative from completing itself. The third natural law of healing is what Dr. Hammer refers to as the ontogenetic system of significant biological special programs of cancer and cancer equivalents, cancer being symptoms where there's a tumor, and cancer equivalents being symptoms of functional change. I call the third natural law of healing the law of relevance. The law of relevance says that every cell, tissue, organ, and system of your body has a very specific, evolved, and totally rational purpose. And the cell, tissue, organ, or system of your body that responds to stress and conflict by creating a symptom is always the cell, tissue, organ, or system that is best able to help you resolve that stress or conflict. What this means is that you can work backwards. By knowing which part of your body is creating the symptom, you can know exactly what kind of stress or conflict your body's responding to. And knowing what's wrong is a huge part of figuring out what to do about it. So the way that the law of relevance can help you heal is that it lets you recognize the different functions of your body, brain, and mind, so you can stop devaluing yourself by trying to make yourself do impossible things. The fourth natural law of healing is what Dr. Hammer calls the law of the ontogenetic system of microbes. It actually applies not just to microbes, but to all your relationships with what your body recognizes as other or not self. I call this fourth natural law of healing the law of ecology. The law of ecology says that since illness comes from stress, it's your stress about what you consider to be germs or environmental toxins or allergens, your stress about the world outside your body that is triggering your symptoms. And it's not the germs, toxins, or allergens themselves. And we know this because if it was those outside forces that made us sick, everyone would get exactly the same contagious illnesses simultaneously. Everyone would be poisoned or get cancer in the same way at the same time. Everyone would be allergic to exactly the same substances, and we'd react exactly the same way to them. The truth is, the difference between you and your environment is not so clear. Molecules are constantly moving into your body from whatever you're touching and from your body out to the world around you. Your body's not the same body it was yesterday or even 5 minutes ago. So why do you still have that symptom that started a year ago? And here's something even more interesting. You are an environment for billions of single-celled creatures. Biologically speaking, there really isn't a difference between you and the world around you and the world within you. And the worlds within and around you participate in your stress and in your healing. So the fourth natural law of healing, the law of ecology, says that the key to immunity is not in treatments meant to control your inner and outer environments, not that you could. Instead, immunity is your reaction to your inner and outer environments. Finally, we come to the fifth natural law of healing, the law of meaning, what Dr. Hammer calls the quintessence. The law of meaning says that our symptoms are evolved biological responses to stress and conflict, which make us better able to respond to that type of stress and conflict in the future. This is actually the most profound of all the natural laws of healing. The emerging field of epigenetics reveals that this improved ability to respond is actually passed along to our offspring too. What this means is that our stress and conflicts literally do make us stronger if we heal them, and we can pass that new ability on. But this can't happen if we merely treat our symptoms without resolving them. So to put the law of meaning to work for you, it's important that instead of feeling victimized by your symptoms, you take the time to consider how overcoming the situation is actually making you more powerful. You look for the benefit, and this is how you can find the cause. To sum up, the 5 natural laws of healing are the law of conflict, which says your symptom is a stress response, the law of process, which says your symptom is either a response to an active stress or its healing phase to put your body back to normal, the law of relevance, which says each type of stress will affect a specific body part or system, the law of ecology, which says that switching on your immunity means learning to notice and control your reactions rather than trying to control your environment, and the law of meaning, which says that overcoming your challenges rather than reacting to them is how you'll become healthier. How do you put the 5 laws to work for you today? Practice of this new medicine is really very simple. You can just look at what you're being stressed about and keep paying attention until you nail it. Or even easier, we can look up your symptom on a chart, figure out what type of conflict that symptom is a response to, and figure out how we've had that type of stress. And then we find a practical solution to that conflict. The body spontaneously goes into healing. Now, at this point, when you know why your symptom's happening, treatment can be really helpful. Treatment can bring down a healing fever that gets too high, for example. Treatment can ease a healing crisis. For example, a heart attack is a type of a healing crisis. Treatment can ease intense pain, stop bleeding, unblock a vital tube in the body. But healing, with the 5 natural laws of healing, is not the same as treatment. It's something you do with your consciousness. It's an internally generated experience, just like the symptom itself is. Healing with the 5 natural laws of healing is fast, convenient, hands-off, inexpensive, and resolves your stress rather than adding to it. Best of all, you'll understand why your body's doing what it's doing, which lets you relax, lets your anxiety dissolve, lets you feel empowered, and your symptom goes away. To apply the 5 natural laws of healing means you need to understand them. This isn't hard. In fact, most social animals intuitively understand these 5 natural laws. However, we have a story about health and illness that's been overriding this knowledge for each of us for most of our lives. So we need to go to a little extra effort. Please visit my website, mindtreehealth.net, to get my free Mind Over Symptom training. If you'd like more direct support for healing your symptom, I'm also here to help you with that. Next time on the Mind Over Symptom podcast, I'm going to dive deep into the map of the mind-body connection. We'll be talking about which symptoms are caused by which type of stress. That is, we're going to dive deeper into the law of relevance. This has been episode 2 of the Mind Over Symptom podcast. Please stay in touch by subscribing to the podcast. I also welcome your feedback in the form of a review at iTunes so that I can continue to improve what I do. And please feel free to ask me questions via any channel. They're listed at my website, mindtreehealth.net. Links to these and other info from the episode are in the show notes. I'm Lishwi Springford. Welcome to the Self-Care Revolution. I look forward to being with you again soon. Until then, be well and have a great day. I hope you enjoyed Mind Over Symptom. To make sure you don't miss an episode, subscribe now and please share with a loved one. The Mind Over Symptom blog lives at mindtreehealth.net, where you can get your free training about the natural laws of healing, and you can also get support. I'm Lishwi Springford, your guide for radical self-healing.